Have you ever felt the weight of the world on your shoulders, as if you were adrift in a sea of chaos, tossed about by events beyond your control? Have you ever wished for a compass, a guiding principle to navigate the storms of life with calm and purpose? To find a bedrock of tranquility amidst the relentless noise of modern existence? Today, we will delve into the heart of Stoic wisdom, exploring 10 of Marcus Aurelius' most powerful quotes that have the potential to reshape your perspective and, in doing so, reshape your life. These are not just words to be remembered, they are tools to be used. And if you stay with me until the end, I will share with you an ancient story that perfectly encapsulates the power of a Stoic mindset in the face of life's unpredictable nature. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is perhaps the cornerstone of all Stoic thought, the fundamental principle upon which a life of resilience is built. Marcus Aurelius is drawing a clear and non-negotiable line in the sand. On one side lies the external world, the actions of other people, the state of the economy, the weather, your health, your reputation. This realm is and always will be largely outside of your direct control. You can influence it, you can prepare for it, but you cannot command it. On the other side of the line is your inner world, your thoughts, your judgments, your responses, your will. This is your kingdom. Here and only here you are sovereign. The mistake we so often make is to confuse these two realms. We exhaust ourselves trying to control the uncontrollable, leading to frustration, anxiety, and a sense of powerlessness. We believe our peace of mind depends on getting that promotion, on someone else's approval, or on a life free of problems. The strength Marcus speaks of is not physical might or worldly authority. It is the profound and unshakable power that comes from radical acceptance of this dichotomy. It's the realization that while you cannot stop the rain from falling, you can choose not to be miserable about it. You can choose to see it as nourishing or simply as a fact of nature, devoid of any inherent good or bad. This isn't about passive resignation. It's about strategic reallocation of your energy. Instead of wasting your precious mental and emotional resources on things you cannot change, you redirect them towards the one thing you can, your own response. This is where true agency lies. It is the practice of pausing between an external event and your reaction, and in that pause, consciously choosing a response rooted in reason, virtue, and equanimity. This is the path from being a victim of circumstance to becoming the master of your own experience. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is one of the most transformative ideas in all of philosophy. It's a complete reframing of adversity. For most of us, an obstacle is a roadblock, a source of frustration, a reason to quit. We see a problem, and our immediate instinct is to wish it away, to complain about its existence, or to be defeated by it. Marcus, however, invites us to perform a kind of mental alchemy. He suggests that the obstacle itself is not just something to be overcome, but the very material from which our path forward is forged. The challenge is not an interruption to our journey, it is the journey. The thing that you perceive as blocking your progress is actually a hidden opportunity to practice a virtue, to develop a new skill, to find a creative solution, or to build resilience. Think of it in practical terms. A difficult colleague at work is not just an annoyance, they are an opportunity to practice patience, empathy, and clear communication. A sudden financial setback is not just a crisis. It is a chance to learn discipline, resourcefulness, and to reevaluate your priorities. A creative block is not a sign of failure. It is an invitation to explore new methods, to rest, or to approach the problem from a completely different angle. By embracing this mindset, you become anti-fragile. You don't just endure stress, you actually get stronger from it. The obstacle ceases to be a source of distress and becomes a source of fuel. It forces you to be smarter, more creative, and more determined. The way forward is not around the obstacle, but directly through it, using its own mass and energy to propel you forward. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This quote is a direct and profound diagnosis of the human condition. It bypasses all external factors, wealth, status, possessions, and circumstances, and locates the source of our contentment squarely within the mind. We are culturally conditioned to believe that happiness is a result of external acquisition. If only we get the right job, find the perfect partner, or live in the right house, then we will be happy. This mindset turns happiness into a destination we are always striving for, but never quite reaching, because the goalposts are always moving. Marcus, who had access to more external goods than almost anyone in history, understood the fallacy of this pursuit. He recognized that a person can be miserable in a palace and content in a prison. The differentiating factor is not the environment, but the internal landscape of one's mind. So what constitutes quality thoughts? In the Stoic view, it is thoughts that are rational, objective, and virtuous. It means seeing things for what they are without the added layers of subjective and often negative judgment. A traffic jam is not a personal attack or a disaster. It is simply a collection of cars moving slowly. A criticism is not a definitive statement of your worth. It is simply another person's opinion, born of their own experiences and biases. Cultivating quality thoughts is an active process, like tending a garden. It requires you to be a vigilant observer of your own mind, to uproot the weeds of irrational fear, anger, and anxiety, and to consciously plant and water the seeds of gratitude, perspective, and reason. The happiness of your life, then, is not a matter of luck or circumstance, but a direct reflection of your commitment to this inner work. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. At first glance, this might seem like an incredibly pessimistic and cynical way to start the day, but to interpret it as such is to miss the profound psychological genius behind the practice. This is not an exercise in misanthropy. It is an exercise in expectation management and radical empathy. Marcus is not encouraging you to view humanity with contempt. Instead, he is performing a premeditatio malorum, or a premeditation of evils. He is arming himself against the inevitable frustrations of social interaction. By anticipating that people will not always act with the kindness, reason, and consideration we hope for, we are less likely to be shocked, angered, or personally offended when they don't. You are mentally vaccinating yourself against disappointment and rage. The second part of the quote is the crucial element. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. This is where the exercise transforms from mere preparation into a profound act of compassion. He is reminding himself that people's vices and flaws stem not from malice, but from ignorance. They act poorly because they are mistaken about what is truly good for them. They chase fame, wealth, or power, believing these things will bring them happiness. And in their misguided pursuit, they act in ways that are harmful to themselves and others. Seeing it this way removes the personal sting. Their arrogance is not an attack on you. It is a symptom of their own insecurity. Their dishonesty is not a betrayal of you. It is a reflection of their own fear. This perspective allows you to respond not with anger, but with a kind of detached pity or understanding, and to interact with them from a place of calm, rational duty rather than emotional reactivity. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This is a profound redefinition of justice and retaliation. Our primal instinct when wronged is to seek revenge, to inflict a pain equivalent to the one we suffered. The old adage, an eye for an eye, resonates deeply within us. We believe that by hurting the person who hurt us, we will find closure and satisfaction. But Marcus, along with the other Stoics, recognized this as a fool's errand. Engaging in revenge means allowing the person who wronged you to dictate your behavior. You are stooping to their level, adopting their flawed values, and letting their vice infect you. In doing so, you give them a second victory. They not only harmed you with their initial action, but they have now succeeded in corrupting your character as well. You become a mirror image of the very thing you despise. The superior path, the best revenge, is to rise above. It is to demonstrate through your own actions that their poison has no effect on you. If they were dishonest, you respond with unwavering integrity. If they were cruel, you respond with deliberate kindness and magnanimity. If they were petty, you respond with perspective and grace. This is not about being a passive doormat. You can still take practical steps to protect yourself and ensure justice is served. But the internal response, the state of your own soul, remains untarnished. By refusing to become like your aggressor, you reclaim your power. You demonstrate that your character is your own, built on a foundation of virtue that cannot be shaken by the misdeeds of others. The ultimate victory is not in lowering them, but in elevating yourself, proving that you operate by a higher, more resilient code. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. In our age of endless debate, online discourse, and virtue signaling, this quote cuts through the noise with surgical precision. It is a powerful call to action over abstraction. It's easy to get caught up in theoretical discussions about ethics, to debate the finer points of what constitutes a virtuous life, or to publicly broadcast our moral positions. We can spend countless hours reading, talking, and thinking about what it means to be a good person. While reflection is important, Marcus warns us that it can become a form of procrastination, a substitute for the actual, difficult work of living virtuously. Philosophy for the Stoics was not a parlor game or an academic subject. It was a way of life, something to be practiced in the trenches of daily existence. To be one is to embody the principles you claim to hold. It means that your actions must align with your words. It's about choosing honesty when a lie would be easier. It's about showing courage when you feel fear. It's about exercising self-control when faced with temptation. It's about being just and fair in your dealings with others, even when no one is watching. Character is not forged in discussion. It is forged in the choices we make every single day, especially the small, seemingly insignificant ones. This quote is a challenge to shift our focus from the theoretical to the practical, from the ideal to the real. Stop talking about the kind of person you want to be and start taking the actions that person would take. In the end, your character is not defined by your opinions, but by the sum of your deeds. Do every act of life as though it were the very last act of your life. This is another powerful application of memento mori, the practice of remembering our mortality. It takes the abstract idea that life is short and transforms it into a concrete, actionable principle for every moment. It is not a call to live recklessly, but to live with supreme intention. Imagine the filter this places on your behavior. If this phone call, this email, this conversation with your child, or this mundane task at work were the very last thing you did, how would your approach change? The quality of your effort would skyrocket. You would act with care, with focus, with integrity, and with a sense of profound significance. Pettiness, laziness, and half-heartedness would evaporate, as they have no place in a final act. This mindset is the ultimate tool for presence and prioritization. It forces you to be fully engaged in the here and now, because this moment could be all you have. It also serves as a powerful clarifying question for your choices. Would you spend your final act scrolling mindlessly through social media, engaging in a pointless argument, or nursing a petty grudge? Or would you choose to create something, to connect with someone, to learn, to help, or to appreciate the beauty around you? This practice doesn't mean you should abandon long-term planning. Rather, it means you should execute the steps of your long-term plans with the excellence and virtue worthy of a final act. It elevates every moment from the mundane to the meaningful, ensuring that your life, when viewed as a whole, is a testament to a character built on deliberate, virtuous action. If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. This quote is Stoicism in its most blunt and practical form. It is a direct command to cultivate resilience and to cease the counterproductive habit of complaining. The first part, if it's endurable, then endure it, is a challenge to our perception. So many of the daily frustrations that cause us distress, traffic, a slow computer, unpleasant weather, a tedious chore, are, in the grand scheme of things, perfectly endurable. They will not break us. They will not cause us lasting harm. Our dramatic internal reaction is often wildly out of proportion to the event itself. Marcus is asking us to pause and make an honest assessment. Can I survive this? The answer is almost always yes. Recognizing this is the first step toward building mental fortitude. It's about consciously expanding our tolerance for discomfort. The second part, stop complaining, addresses the action that follows the feeling of frustration. Complaining is the verbalization of our powerlessness. It is an act of surrender to the external event. It does not solve the problem. In fact, it often makes us feel worse by forcing us to dwell on the negative and reinforcing our sense of victimhood. Furthermore, it poisons the atmosphere for those around us. To stop complaining is to reclaim your agency. It is a conscious choice to accept the reality of the situation without protest. This doesn't mean you can't take action to change things if possible. But when a situation is outside your control and simply must be borne, the Stoic response is to bear it with quiet dignity and equanimity, saving your energy for things you can actually influence. It is the practice of choosing inner peace over futile protest. How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? This is a brilliantly pragmatic and rational assessment of one of our most destructive emotions. When someone offends or harms us, our immediate focus is on the initial injury. We feel the sting of the insult, the pain of the betrayal, or the frustration of the injustice. This initial event is the cause. However, Marcus urges us to step back and analyze what happens next. Our response very often is anger, and it is this anger, our own emotional reaction, that frequently inflicts far more damage upon us than the original event ever could. The initial offense might be a fleeting moment, a careless word, or a minor transgression. But the anger it ignites can burn for hours, days, or even years. Think about the consequences of unchecked anger. It clouds our judgment, leading us to say and do things we later regret, damaging relationships and our reputation. It floods our bodies with stress hormones, harming our physical health over the long term. It consumes our mental energy, preventing us from focusing on productive and positive pursuits. It robs us of our peace of mind, trapping us in a cycle of replaying the offense and stewing in our own toxic emotions. When you weigh it all out, the sleepless nights, the high blood pressure, the broken trust, the wasted time, it becomes clear that the suffering we inflict upon ourselves through our anger is often vastly disproportionate to the initial trigger. Recognizing this is not to say the original cause was acceptable, but it is to make a rational choice to protect ourselves from the secondary and often more severe self-inflicted wound of our own rage. If you don't have a consistent goal in life, you can't live in a consistent life. This quote speaks to the fundamental human need for purpose and direction. Marcus understood that a life without a unifying principle is a life adrift. Imagine a ship leaving a harbor with no destination. It would be pushed and pulled by every current and every gust of wind. It might drift in circles or end up on the rocks, but it would never make meaningful progress. This is the state of a person without a consistent goal. Their actions are dictated by fleeting whims, social pressures, and immediate gratification. One day they might pursue wealth, the next day pleasure, the day after that social status. Their life lacks coherence because their actions are not guided by a stable, internal compass. This inconsistency leads to a feeling of being fragmented, unfulfilled, and perpetually reactive to the world. For a Stoic, the consistent goal is not an external achievement like becoming wealthy or famous, as these things are not entirely within our control. The ultimate goal is internal, to live a life of virtue. It is the unwavering commitment to act with wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation in all situations. This becomes the North Star by which all decisions are navigated. Before taking an action, one asks, is this choice in accordance with virtue? Is it the rational and just thing to do? When every choice, from the monumental to the mundane, is measured against this single, consistent standard, a life of profound consistency and integrity emerges. You are no longer a ship at the mercy of the waves, but a captain steering a deliberate course towards the highest good, finding stability and purpose regardless of the external storms you may face. Now, before you go, let me tell you a story about the founder of Stoicism, Zeno of Citium. Zeno of Citium was once a wealthy merchant, his life seemingly secure and prosperous. But on a fateful voyage, a violent storm struck, and his ship was wrecked. In an instant, Zeno lost everything: his cargo, his fortune, his sense of certainty. Most would have been crushed by such a loss, but Zeno saw it differently. He later wrote, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." Stripped of his possessions, Zeno wandered into a bookshop in Athens, where he discovered the teachings of Socrates and the philosophers. That shipwreck, which seemed at first a disaster, became the turning point of his life. It was the obstacle that became the way. From the ruins of his old life, Zeno built something far greater, the philosophy of Stoicism, a compass for navigating the storms of existence. The lesson is clear. We cannot control the winds or the waves, but we can control how we respond. What seems like misfortune may in time reveal itself as the very thing that sets us on the path to wisdom and strength.